All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are jumping right into a T20 World Cup semifinal that was, well, it was an absolute classic. We're talking about a high-scoring, nail-biting thriller between India and England. And we're going to break down exactly how this incredible game was won and lost.
Okay, so let's just start with the final numbers here. India puts up a massive 253 on the board. England gets unbelievably close, finishing on 246. That's a final margin of just 7 runs. I mean, think about that. We're talking about almost 500 runs scored in 40 overs, and the entire game boils down to a single-digit difference. Incredible.
But you know, a scoreboard never tells the whole story, does it? This match was so much more than that. It was a story of these huge momentum swings, some absolutely breathtaking individual performances, and one crucial mistake that you could argue pretty much decided the whole thing right from the very beginning.
So let's get into our first key chapter. It all centers on one single moment, a second chance for India that turned into a moment of massive regret for England.
You know, you don't always see this kind of brutal honesty from a captain. Early in India's innings, Harry Brook dropped Sanju Samson. It was a tough chance, but one you have to take. And as he says right here, he knew, even then, just how big of a mistake that was going to be.
And this number, this is the price England paid for that drop. After being given that second life, Sanju Samson went on to score an absolutely blistering 89 more runs. He was the guy who built the entire foundation for India's enormous total.
And look, Samson wasn't a one-man army. He and Ishan Kishan, wow. They put together this incredible 97-run partnership in just 45 balls. Then you had a really clever tactical move, sending Shivam Dube up the order to attack the spinners. And then, just to cap it all off, Tilak Varma comes in and just smashes it, 21 off 6 balls. That's how you get to a monster score like 253.
Now you'd think a target that big pretty much seals the deal, right? Well, think again. England was not going down quietly. They launched an absolutely astonishing counterattack, and it was led by one young player who almost single-handedly flipped this game on its head.
Enter 22-year-old Jacob Bethel. I mean, what an innings. He played the game of his life, a sensational 105 from just 45 deliveries. And it wasn't just mindless hitting. He was smart, building these 4 crucial partnerships that kept England's hopes alive deep into the chase.
And this is where it gets really crazy. Just look at this comparison. With only 3 overs left in the entire match, England was actually 4 runs ahead of where India was at the exact same stage. So even though they'd lost more wickets, Bethel's assault meant they were on track to pull off something absolutely incredible.
So this is the climax. How does a game this tight get decided? Well, it always comes down to who makes the big plays in those crucial, high-pressure moments. And India's players, they stood up when it counted. And this is where the two stories really diverge. Remember England's costly drop? Well, on the flip side, India's fielding was just spectacular. As England's coach Brendan McCullum points out here, the difference really was the catching. Axar Patel took 2 absolute stunners, including this brilliant running catch over 20 yards to get rid of the dangerous Harry Brook, a real game-changer. Okay, so this is it. The stage is set for the final 3 overs. England needs 45 runs. Now that is a tall order, but at a ground like the Wankhede, where the ball just flies, it was totally possible. The entire match was right there, hanging on a knife's edge.
But when the pressure is at its absolute highest, India has an ace up its sleeve. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? When a game is on the line, having Jasprit Bumrah is India's unique match-winning advantage. It really is that simple sometimes.
And this is the moment the game was won. The 18th over. England needs to go big. They need to accelerate. And what does Jasprit Bumrah give them? Just 6 runs. 6. He didn't just slow them down. He hit the emergency brake on their whole chase. That one over made the target go from difficult to nearly impossible.
So we've talked about the players, but you can't talk about this match without talking about the venue itself. The Wankhede Stadium and its incredible crowd. They played a starring role in making this thriller so unforgettable.
You see, the crowd wasn't just a wall of noise. It was described as a genuine cricket crowd. And you know what that means, right? They get the little things. They're not just cheering the 4s and 6s. They're appreciating a good stop in the field, a tough over bowled. They appreciated the skill on display from both teams, creating this electric energy that was born from a pure love of the sport.
And we'll finish on this thought because it just captures the whole vibe of the day perfectly. It mentions Amchi Mumbai, which means our Mumbai, and it really speaks to that sense of local pride. And Pandari, well, that refers to a holy place, a site of pilgrimage. And for anyone who loves cricket, that's exactly what the Wankhede felt like on this day. A sacred ground for the sport, witnessing a truly, truly special game.